Hi everyone, my name is Nassim Nkatha. I'm a psychologist. I'm the CEO and founder of Hearts Organization, and I'm also a co-host at a podcast called What's on Your Mind. And in one of our episodes, we had touched on informed consent when it comes to therapy. So this right here is for me to walk you through the whole informed consent form, how it looks, and what's in it. I've been pushed to do this by our producers. So yeah, here we go. So the informed consent form, like I mentioned in the episode, it has different segments. It has cases. Okay, first of all, it introduces you to the therapist. So I'm walking you through mine. The reason as to I'm saying this is because different therapists might have different informed consent forms, but the baseline or the basics are all the same. So this is what's in mind. Just in case you go to another therapist and then you realize it's kidogo different, don't be alarmed, as long as it has the confidentiality. And when confidentiality can be broken, and as long as it has cases that your therapist might handle or might not handle, and as long as it has your rights as a client, then you're good to go. The wordings might be a little different, but the rest, everything else should be there. So for mine, it first has my name, it has my number, my email, my qualifications. I'm looking at my PC, so yeah. So it starts by saying, hello, we're going to start our work together by going through this informed consent form. So before you start any therapeutic relationship, as long as it's official, the first thing that your therapist needs to do is walk you through the informed consent form. So mine states after the greetings, it states it will answer some questions you wanted answered or may not even have thought about, because at times when it comes to therapy, some people have been through to therapy before and some haven't, so they're very green in regards to what they need to know, what questions they need to answer. So this informed consent form helps answer questions that you might have or questions that you might not have thought about. So after the introductions, it's very courteous to start with greetings and everything. So after the introductions, now we have what issues won't I work with. So in my form, it has issues to do with, okay, let me just read it through. So what issues won't I work with? So it states there are certain issues that I will be sending you to another therapist for. The most important for you to know is an issue that might come up involves physical problems like heart conditions. So once we've gone through the informed consent form, there's another form that you need to fill, which is called the history taking form. So under the history taking form, there's a segment that talks about medical history. So the reason as to we do this is there's certain clients that come to us with pre-existing conditions like heart troubles, high blood pressure, and whatnot. And at times, therapy can be too intense or so intense that it might trigger a heart condition, it might trigger, high blood pressure or something. So your therapist needs to know so that they can know if they need to have your physician, at a speed dial or something, just in case an emergency happens or some of these conditions are triggered. So it's very important for you to be very honest and open with your therapist in regards to some of the conditions that you have, physical conditions. So this states because therapy may bring up strong emotional and physical reactions, like I just said. Other than that, there's also another segment that states about suicidal ideations. When it comes to suicidal ideations, I remember I mentioned this during the episode. Some of these suicidal ideations, there are two main ones. There's the active and there's the passive suicidal ideation. So in this form, it states that whereby the passive suicidal ideation is whereby, personally, I believe majority of the population have gone through it, where life has gotten kidogo so hard that for a split second, you think it would be better off if you're not around. But you don't think on ways to do it. You don't fixate on how, death would be an amazing thing and everything. It's just a passing thought. So in that case, therapy can work in such a setup. But now the other one is the active suicidal ideation, whereby you're fixating on ways to do it. You've had an attempt before. We have now the risk factors. These are people that have mood disorders, things like depression, bipolar and everything. So such a setup would not work. So it means you need either hospitalization or you need to be in a hospital facility whereby they can offer the proper help that, you might need. So virtual sessions are not, I do not recommend virtual sessions if you have active suicidal ideation. And that's what this informed consent from the first page talks about. And then at the bottom, the last paragraph states, we've discussed the areas that my therapist don't work with, and I understand and agree to this. Additionally, I do not have any of the suicidal issues that we discussed, nor do I have physical conditions like heart troubles that might be triggered by therapy. Now, once your client and you've ascertained that your client understands this, then you go to the next page. So the next page is all about confidentiality and its exceptions. So what you need to understand is once you get to therapy, everything that will be happening in the therapy session is very confidential. But it also has its exceptions. So this states, during our sessions, I may take written or audio notes. So the notes are to help for follow-up sessions. This helps me remember what we accomplished or still need to do, and can help remind you to. So like I said, it really comes in handy when it comes to follow-up sessions, treatment plans, and all that. So now from that first paragraph, there are other, two details written there, but I don't feel like, I don't want to get into all that. So we go to the next paragraph, which states, however, there are some exceptions. So I'll mention a few, like maybe 3 or 4. Mine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 exceptions. So the first one, honestly, it's very self-explanatory. So it states, if a child is or may be at risk of abuse or neglect or in need of protection. So if we start therapy and then I realize maybe a child is, at risk of abuse, neglect, and all that, then I need to break confidentiality and get the kid the help that, they need. The other one is, if I believe that you or any other person is at clear risk of imminent hurt. If you come to sessions and then I believe that, there's those 2 talks that people say, and they or something, there's a way you can gauge and see, okay, this person is seriously, thinking of, harming or hurting someone else or hurting themselves. So now this is where now I will liaise with a hospital and also liaise with the authorities in a way that we won't take you to jail per se. You'll be taken to hospital first. They'll do an evaluation there and everything. You might stay in hospital for a while, and then now from there you're taken to court, and then now the whole law, whatever, they'll decide on what to do with you. So it's not necessarily that I'm going to snitch you out to the cops for you to get arrested. I'll be snitching you out for you to get the help that you need in a hospital. Now, the other part is for the purpose of complying with a legal order, such as a subpoena, or if the disclosure is otherwise required or authorized by law. So in this case, let's say we've started the sessions and then, God forbid, you catch a case, and then now they say the court subpoenas me as your therapist to submit therapy notes and whatnot. If it's okay, let me not go too deep on it. So if the law subpoenas us for me to submit the therapy notes, audios, and all that, then you and I have no say. We just need to comply with the court and do as they wish. Of course, in this case, we'll be liaising with your lawyer and see, how to go about it. But yeah, we don't have any say in it. The other point states, if you are in a couples therapy with me, do not tell me anything you wish kept secret from your partner. So most of the time, people will start therapy as an individual. And then as we progress, we realize maybe the chief complaint or one of the biggest issues that you have is in relation to your relationship or your partner. So that means we now need to start couples therapy. So anything you might have said prior to us now bringing in your partner in and everything, all that will be confidential. But the minute we start having couples therapy, then everything you say will have to be disclosed to the other party, so we can know where the problem is. Let me give you an example. Let's say we've started sessions, and so first, there's certain therapists that will separate you first. So it is a couples therapy, yes, but they'll start the first session with one partner and then the other one with the other partner. Because again, there's certain situations whereby some people don't feel comfortable disclosing yet to their partner and everything. So the first sessions are normally to find where the problem is. So unapata msee anasema, oh, I feel this way every time he does this and everything, and I don't know how to tell them and what's what. And the other partner comes and says the same thing. So when we come now as a couple, what I'll do is I'll be like a mediator. So they feel this way, the other party feels this way. So where do we find the common ground? How do we work around it and everything? So that's why anything that you say during a couples therapy will most definitely be disclosed to the party. But if you feel like there's certain things you're not ready to share, then it means until you're sure you want to share with your partner, that's when you can disclose it. So this is what that point talks about. So the other point says, I may also disclose information for the purpose of a professional consultation or for a professional presentation of paper, in which case your identity will remain confidential. So in this case, let me give you an example. Around last year, from 2021 all the way to last year, I used to train for theirs. These were for theirs that were doing psychology, and I was doing more of supervision sessions with them. So practicals and theory are two very different things. So what we do in this case is we share real life cases, case studies and everything. So if I will have to share your case study or something like that, I'll have to have run it by you first. You need to give a go-ahead and say you're comfortable with it or not. And this is something that we'll look into now, the rights of a client. So in this case, your identity will remain confidential and anonymous. I might change the gender. I might change, anything that would identify you. So the whole case study will be very anonymous, but it will be based on real life case studies. I hope that makes sense. The other bit, the last one states, I may also be sharing anonymous data, length of time, effectiveness, and unusual problems from our sessions to help improve the quality of the process we're using. So let's say you've started sessions with me. Personally, what I do is at the end of every month, I normally do a review. Where were you when you started? What treatment plan is working for you? What's not working for you? Are you improving or not? So let's say during the review, I realize you're not improving and all that. So it means either the treatment plan didn't work, so it means we need to figure out something else and whatnot. Or if the issue is unusual and everything, I will seek your consent to consult with another professional to see what I've missed out on, what treatment plan I can try out, and so on and so forth. So that's now under confidentiality and its exceptions. So the last paragraph to this states, we've discussed exceptions to confidentiality, and I understand and agree with these terms of therapy. So from here, you can sign that page if you agree. If you still have questions, you can ask your therapist. And then now we get to my favorite bit of the informed consent. So this is reviews, referrals, and ending. So technically, in counseling, it's your right to have at any time any of these things that I'll mention. So these basically are the rights of a client. So one, it's your right to have a review of your progress and any of the topics in this form. Like I said, I normally do a review at the end of the month, but if you feel like end of the month, iko mbali sana, you want a review mid-month or something, it's always your right to ask for a review and see how you're progressing and everything. The other bit is it's your right to be provided with a referral to another counselor or health professional. So when it comes to another counselor, personally advise all my clients, before you get a therapist, always have a good rapport with them. And the good rapport you can tell from the first few sessions. So if you realize you don't have a good rapport with your therapist, then it's your right to ask for a referral to another counselor, and they need to do that, for you. When it comes to the health professional, let's say we've started sessions. I don't know if you knew this. There are certain medications that the side effects might mimic as, a psychological issue, a mood issue and everything. So in this case, let's say remember I told you about the history taking form and everything. So I realized there's certain medications you're taking, and some of the side effects to this medication are either something that mimics a mood disorder and everything. So I'll have to either liaise with your current physician or refer you to a different physician and figure out if either we can reduce the dosage or if we can change the medication for you and see if these symptoms will go away. So the other bit is withdraw. It's your right to withdraw consent for the collection, use, or disclosure of your personal information, except where precluded by law. So like I said, it's your right. The only time, like I said, ile confidentiality clause, I may seek another professional, advice and everything. Before I do that, I'll have to run it by you. If you feel like you're not comfortable with it, it's your right to withdraw consent and say, no, let's just figure this thing out ourselves. The other one about the classes and everything, like for professional purposes and all that. Before I do that, I'll have to tell you, I'll share your story, but I'll do it anonymously. Are you comfortable with this? If you're not comfortable with that, then it's your right to withdraw consent or that too. Like I said, except where precluded by law. Ikifikia kwa law, you and I have no say in it. We just need to comply. The other bit, the last one is, it's your right to end counseling or therapeutic relationship by so advising the therapist. If you feel like, umefika stage, umechokea hapo, you want to end sessions and everything, you can always do it. I've added the bit where by so advising the therapist because at times there's so many other reasons as to why people would want to end therapeutic relationships. One of the biggest ones that I've met is finances, whereby someone feels like they can't sustain, the payments to therapy and everything. So personally for this, once my client tells me this, we come up with a payment plan for them that is comfortable for them and, for them to continue with sessions and everything. The other one is maybe they just need a break. They have a lot, and they feel like they need a break from therapy and everything. In this case, I personally help prepare some worksheets that you can be doing that can help you during the break and everything, so that when you're coming back, you've been, you've continued with your wellness journey. And then lastly, the last paragraph states, I reserve the rights to terminate therapy at any time. This may occur, for example, if I believe that I simply can't help you. So this is me as your therapist. I reserve that right to terminate therapy at any time if I feel like maybe there's nothing much I can do to help you and everything. So in this case, I'll either refer you to someone else or just end the therapeutic relationship. Because again, it would be very unfair for me. I know very well I can't help you. Like, we've tried all these treatment plans and everything, and I still maintain the therapeutic relationship. I'll be wasting your time and I'll also be wasting your money. So yes, but if this happens, I normally do referral letters. So even if I'm referring you to someone else, I'll refer you to them with your history, what we've worked on, what hasn't worked and everything, and reasons for referring you to them. And then lastly, it states we've discussed the rights around the termination of therapy and understand and agree to these terms. And then now you sign that page. And then the last page is all about the signatory pages. So this is my signature below confirms that I, the client have read the above, had an opportunity to discuss it with the therapist, had sufficient time to consider it carefully, and my questions were answered to my satisfaction. And then now you send this that part for the client, there's a part for the therapist. And if let's say the client is below 18 or extremely old, then there's that part of the caregiver. And then now there's a name of the caregiver and a signature of the caregiver. So yes, that's the whole informed consent form, my informed consent form. I'm pretty sure if you meet other therapists, they also have that different ways of, the informed consent. But those main areas must be there. Cases the client handles, the qualification in terms of what they specify in and everything, confidentiality muhimu sana, and the rights of a client and referral and ending of the sessions and everything. So yeah, in case you have questions or there's something you didn't understand or you'd like some clarification on, always feel free to comment. On our comment section, feel free to reach us on our email info@hags.co.ke. Feel free to reach out on our social medias. Hags hags underscore co.ke. That is on Instagram. On YouTube is Hags Organization. The rest is just hags.co.ke. So yeah, bye.